Dude, I wanted to freaking grab my guitar right there. I'm gonna grab my guitar, Carlin, actually, now that I think about it. And I'm gonna learn that riff. I'm gonna learn the intro, and then that's gonna be the intro next week, is me learning that riff and playing the riff and having the movie and all the kind of things going on.
Are you going Borat style on that, or are you just going to practice the riff?
We're gonna leave the Mankini for the webinar. We'll save the Borat Mankini a little bit.
Okay. Had to ask.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Thank growth. It's Friday, guys. Welcome. Happy Friday. Welcome, one and all. It almost feels like this place is like the Disneyland of the internet. We have such a good time here, guys. Thank you all for being here. Love you all. Really excited. Ken Wilson, guys, we had an amazing Zoom last night, and I'm going to get into that in a second. But Ken Wilson, if you guys missed it, please, everybody in the comments, give Ken Wilson a big congratulations and a round of applause. He did the thing. I believe it was on Valentine's Day night, so just a couple nights ago. He officially proposed, and she said yes. So give Ken a big round of applause. Ken is engaged.
So yeah, go Ken.
Oh,
and I heard it was
man.
Killer romance.
Oh, 100%. You know what? He's getting married on August 25th in Homer, Alaska, and it's going to be awesome. He asked me to officiate his wedding, and I've got to go figure out where to get licensed to do that. And I'm really excited to dig up some dirt. Like, I'm going to go deep. Dude, let me tell you, Carlin, I was a best man at one of my BFF's weddings one time. And dude, I gave like the best man speech. I'm so excited for this. This is going to be fun. So guys, give Ken a big congratulations. I'm so honored at Helmut the opportunity to not only just be there, but to be able to do that for you guys. This is really, really cool. So if you guys are wanting to, attend, I guess, come on up to Alaska. We'll save you guys a seat. So Devin Landers, what's going on, dude? Welcome. It is Friday. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. I know I am. Dude, Carlin, how are you? How's the week been for you? What is new in Carlin's world?
Gosh. So funny you mentioned it. So you remember my buddy Braden that came on to TGIF that one time?
Of course I do.
So I am actually the best man woman at his wedding coming up in April.
Oh.
Yeah. I have no idea how to be a best man. So
well, let me we'll talk about it starts with the bachelor party. So we'll talk offline. We'll get into some good details. Okay. And then we'll work on like the best man speech and all that kind of stuff. This will be good. This will be fun.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I can do this. I can get it.
So do you wear like a pantsuit, or do you wear like a dress? Like what is a best man? Is it like, I guess it'd be like a best woman.
So I went
through that. Is that the technical term, Carlin?
I don't know. I was absolutely shocked. I was like, Braden, do I wear a suit? Are you guys wearing suits? Do I need to wear a suit? I asked his fiance. I was like, do you need me to wear a suit? Should I wear a suit? Is that what I do here? She's like, yeah, just order a dress, okay? He's like, okay, so no pantsuit. I was gonna get the pin suit. I thought that was gonna be sharp. She was like,
Dumb and Dumber, dude, like Harry and Lloyd. Like go get, yeah.
That's why I was like, I'll do that. And James, my dear sweet husband, was like, I'm not going to that wedding with you if you wear a suit, Carlin.
Ooh.
I was like, dang.
Ken, I don't want to take away this here, and I don't want to be planting seeds where I shouldn't. Okay. But should we wear the Dumb and Dumber tuxes for your wedding? Is that appropriate? I don't know your fiance. I don't know if like that's if like that scene, like if everyone's going to appreciate the humor, or if it's kind of like, hey, you know what? This is my first wedding.
This is my first.
This needs to be, yeah. Dude, I told my wife, I said, we'll in July 2nd, we'll have been married for 14 years. We have been together. We met between my junior and senior year in high school. And I feel so fortunate and so blessed to have met my eternal partner so early on in my life. And I told my wife, we got married when I was 19 years old, right after I'd been in the military. Man, I guess it's probably fudge. Where was it? Maybe about a year or so before we got married. And after having gone through that whole thing, because like you remember your wedding day. I don't know, maybe I don't know if this is like a male and female different perspective, but me and my wife both agree, like after having gone through that, where it's like, man, the entire day just needs to be perfect and like just all the stress and anxiety that comes with that big day, and then it just comes and goes so stinking fast. And the next, we never went on a honeymoon or anything. Like it was like the next day, all right, I'm just going, now I go to work. And that was it. In hindsight, I'm like, man, you know what would have been cool? At least I love to do things, Carlin, just for the story. For those of you guys don't know, like Carlin and I were talking, we got some really fun stuff coming on that involves a Borat mankini. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go Google Borat mankini. I am one of those guys. I will do shit just for the story. And hindsight, looking back at my wedding, I'm like, dude, you know what would have been funny? Like, if nothing, like, let's go to Vegas and let's let Elvis marry us. Like, let's go through the drive-thru like you do at Mickey D's and just go get married. Like, that would have been like a cool story, like just to have something done. So I don't know. Again, I don't know if this is like the male versus female perspective on weddings, but Ken, if you're up for it, let me know if we should do the Dumb and Dumber tuxes. Yeah, let me know, dude. Let me know. I'm excited. We'll have a good time with it.
Top hats for the win.
Now, Luke put this comment out here. He's a gym guy, but I just want to make sure that's the context in which this comment was derived.
Jesse, just take it down.
Just need to make sure. If you guys didn't see it, I posted we're going to start doing Growth Co skits. And we had a really good one that started yesterday. I went and shared it this morning. So if you guys haven't seen it, go in. It's on my stories. I think it's in the Growth Co Facebook group. It was shared as a reel. It is hilarious. Would love to get your guys' feedback on that. We had such a great time doing it, and we've got so many things lined up. So I'm really excited for it. That being said, Ken, congratulations again, brother. Really excited for you. Announcements. Carlin, let's talk about last night to start. So last night, guys, if you missed it, we had a phenomenal, probably one of the best, if not the best, and most value-driven free coaching call that I have ever done for somebody. It was absolutely amazing. There was tons of value dropped. We went for about 2.5 hours last night, and it was great. It was absolutely phenomenal. And I think we're going to start making those more of a regular thing. So if you guys missed it last night, let me know if you want to see the replay. Go make a post in the Facebook group when we get done editing it and when everything is up and ready to go. Let us know in the comments if you want to see that replay. I would dare say it was probably the best one that we've done for free. Pansy was there. It was great, Pansy. Thank you for being there. We had such a great turnout. My team, Carlin and the rest of our team, the rest of our fam, said, hey, we should do a webinar. And let's make this webinar focused around a lot of the stuff that, Jesse, you've done. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, I've done a lot. Oh, Mark was here. Mark, thank you, bro. Thank you for being there. I'm so grateful eternally. I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful that all you guys were there. It was a great Zoom. We had a great time last night. The energy was there, and it was genuinely just a lot of fun. I can't wait to start doing Growth Co. Like meetups in person.
Oh, that's
it's almost like a frat party, but at the same time, like if you could be inundated with, like if you could just receive so much value and information through osmosis just from being there, just because there's so much effing value in the air, simply just by attending those things, your business walks away better. So I'm really excited to be able to start doing these things in person, which we are going to. Probably be the first one will probably be in Arizona. But guys, thank you again for being here. It was awesome. And so after looking at last night and how well received it was, the team we had a team meeting this morning, and they said, Jesse, we should do a webinar. Let's make this webinar for next week, next Wednesday at I think at 8 p.m. is what we decided this morning. Is that right, Carlin?
Yes, sir.
So we're going to have a webinar that will probably go for another 2.5 hours. And we're going to get into the more of the nitty and gritty. The last night's Zoom was kind of it was a free coaching session. So it was anybody who needs help with whatever it is, come in, raise your hand, and I will stay on as long as I need to make sure that you guys have the value, the action steps. It wasn't one of those things where you just come in and you get content and then you leave. You guys know by now, when you attend anything that either Carlin or I do, or Chris, we give you homework right then and there. Not only do we give you homework, there's accountability, there's everything that goes into it. So one of the things that Chris and I ended up doing, if you guys haven't heard yet, one of the turning points that we had in our business last year was we dissolved our wholesaling business, and in about a 10-week period, so it was like mid-October through the rest of the year, we put out a goal to go buy 50 doors. We ended up buying 64. Those 64 doors net us about $50,000 a month. And we were talking a little bit about that this morning. We thought, man, what if we do a webinar, but instead of the webinar being kind of like free coaching like it was last night, let's talk specifically, Jesse, about the moves that you did to be able to net $50,000 in about a 10-week period without leveraging any of your own money, any of your own credit, any of your own debt. And let's talk about what the mindset was, what the action steps was, what was the execution, what was the accountability. We had some really great questions last night. Somebody asked, I think it was, oh man, I can't remember who it was now. I want to say it was Pat, but I don't think it was Pat. It was Mike. That's who it was. Mike asked, Jesse, when I started bringing in more high-level people into my business, where do I find these people? And we had such a great conversation about it, guys. And I thought, man, you know what? You guys are right. What if we do a webinar next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and the entire webinar will be exactly that. How I started, what my obstacles were, during those obstacles, what the revelations were that I had. That was like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. I need to execute differently. I need to make this pivot. I need to blah, 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 blah. And walk you guys through that mindset and those iterations in my business that allowed us to be able to get to where we are right now, that allowed us to have the year that we had last year and the things that we are going to do this year. If I did a webinar for this, guys, this is the first time we're announcing it. We literally just decided we were going to do this like 2 hours ago. Would this be super helpful for you guys? Would this help set you guys up? Let me know in the comments. Would this help set you guys up for this year? If I put the time, energy, and effort into putting together a webinar, breaking down exactly all of this stuff, would this help you? Okay, here's what I need you guys to do then. And I've got my team watching this. I need you guys. I know this is very counterproductive here, but I'm going to do it. I don't know if you guys are watching this on a computer or on your phone. Here's what I need you guys to do. This webinar is going to be capped at 100 people. I'm going to cap it at 100 people. That's it. This is going to be reserved for only the action takers. Everybody says that they want to go do shit and they want to go make big money, but they can't even be bothered to go do something. They can't even be bothered to go stink and post something. So here's what we're going to do. This is going to be reserved for only action takers. So go into the Growth Co. Facebook group right now. And go type in there, I would like access to next week's webinar. And either myself or my team will go ahead and they'll know who to DM the registration link for next week's webinar. And we'll let everybody here who's watching live right now, you guys will be the first group that'll have access to registration. Again, this is going to be capped at 100 people. Mark says, where's the group? So Mark, great question, brother. So to go along with this podcast, if you guys don't know, thank you for asking this. Let me kind of speak through you to everybody else who doesn't know. This podcast, Think Growth It's Friday, coincides with not only my coaching program, but our Facebook group that's called The Growth Co. So if you guys are not in our Facebook group, The Growth Co., Real Estate Mastery for Investors, search The Growth Co. Or if you go on mine or Carlin's Facebook groups, like you'll see links and anything and everything about that Facebook group. Shouldn't be hard to find. But if you go in there and go ahead, yes, sir, The Growth Co. So if you go in there and go make a post, let everybody know or let my team know that you want access to next week's webinar, then we will shoot you guys the link for the registration. And again, we're going to cap this at 100 people. So everybody that goes and takes action on this right now will be the first group of people to get registered for next week's webinar and we're going to start marketing this later in the day. So if you want this, again, if I haven't said it 7 times, then I haven't said it once. If you want access to this, then you need to go post right now. If you're watching this on your phone and you don't have a computer handy, you need to get off the live real quick. You need to go post it so that you make sure that you are the first group of individuals that gets access to this registration for the webinar next week. Enough said about that. Crystal clear. We used to say in the military, clear as mud. Okay, cool. The only other thing that we've got going on, if you guys didn't know, you guys want to understand how, and we're going to dive into so much with next week's webinar. I'm excited to start putting this thing together to make sure that you guys have extreme clarity and value. We're going to be talking about betting on yourself today. In order to do something that you've never done, in order to have something you've never had, the only way that you can go from where you are right now to where you're trying to go is with new information. Because when you think about where you started and you think about where you are right here, this gap of time right here will only get you so far. The things that you did, the thoughts that you had, the way that you executed, the way that you managed your time, everything that got you from where you started to where you are right here, this space of time is not going to get you from where you are right now to where you're trying to go. Okay, the only way that you got from where you started to where you are right now was you had access to new information. And the only way that you can get from where you are right now to where you're trying to go is with new information. Because what got you from where you are to where you are right now, where you were to where you are right now, will not get you from here to here. You have to have access to new information. one of the major things that I have done in my life that got me to a point that I can go buy enough properties to cash flow $50,000 a month in as little as 2.5 months. A big proponent of that has been books. Access to new information, access to new ways of thinking. Now, not only do I go and read a ton of books, but I have to be intentional with that information. And so one of the things that Carlin and myself have put together, and Carlin hosts religiously every other week, is a book club. You can't afford to not be in on this book club. Carlin, do you want to talk a little bit more about that real quick? I just want to, I've got to make sure that everybody is crystal clear. You got these big ass standards. You got shit that you're wanting to do. But your standards are down here. Your standards have to be in line with the goals that you are setting. I can't tell you how many times, and I'm just speaking as a practitioner. I'm not sitting here up on a pulpit saying, hey, you guys need to do all this. I'm more or less talking to myself, the old self. I'm giving my there's nobody that's more qualified to give your old self advice than you. This is all I'm doing. I'm speaking to me, through me, to you guys. You can't afford to not be in on these book clubs. It has completely transformed my life. It's allowed me to see things from a different perspective, not only from the content within these books, but the individuals reading them and how they're interpreting them. I want you guys to think real quick. How many of you have ever read a book and then a year later, you went and read that same book? Did you take something different from it, or was it the exact same thing? Carlin, when you do that, do you take something different from it when you read the same book a year later? Or is it just the same thing? Are you just reading the same book?
No, I mean, you might pick up some of the same tidbits that you did before, but your brain is on a different capacity. You're operating on a completely different level. So the things that you might have overlooked the first time, those were on a different frequency, on a different level than you were on. So when you go back and read the same book and you've expanded your mindset or your skills or your capabilities, you're going to go back and you're going to read that book and you will not pick up the same information that you read when you read it the first time. It's
interesting.
Yeah.
So let's say you and me are at different points in our life, right? You and I have different experiences. Mm-hmm. So you and I can read the exact same book, and you and I are going to come out of that book with very different talking points.
Very different. Like, do you remember that? Oh gosh, what book were we reading?
Green Eggs and Ham.
It was Green Eggs and Ham. That's what it was. Thank you.
I knew it.
No, it was the. I want to say it was. Gosh, dang it! I can't remember what book it was, but Freddie Fryer just came left field with the conversation. All of us were talking. It was a great dynamic. We're all like, "Oh yeah, I totally see your point. I told you, yeah, I definitely see it here." And Freddie, on a completely different level, just swooped in. It was like, hey, but have you ever thought about it this way? And it is just like the whole room was like, it was mind-boggling because the way that he was operating was different from the level that we were operating on. So his perspective is one of those bits of information that was allowing us to basically transform our thought process on that situation. And I think that's the cool part about book clubs is even if you can all agree on one thing, there's going to be someone who has a fresh perspective. It's going to be different from how you would see it. And that perspective is what's going to allow you to shift, because you might not agree on something with someone. I mean, dare I say it, politics, religion, whatever. You don't have to agree with someone. That's okay. But you do need to be able to open your mind to perspective, because perspective is how we're allowed to stretch our brains and how we grow from this spot here to here.
Dude, well said. Well said. And I remember that day. It was honestly, that was probably one of the most memorable book clubs that I've ever been part of. It was all in all, it was just such a great discussion, but mainly it was so impactful for me because the rest of us, everybody in there, 100% of everybody in there had already been started understanding things about real estate. Like they already been diving into real estate and they understood the importance of being in this book club. Freddie had zero experience with real estate, had no idea what wholesaling was. He had no idea what any of this stuff was. And so when we started talking about it, obviously we're talking about the concepts and the things in the book as it relates to where we are and what we're going to take action on and all these kind of things. And Freddie came in completely out of nowhere. I mean, the Zoom was packed. And Freddie, who had no experience in real estate, he was the lowest guy on the totem pole in terms of his experience with real estate and owning a business and all that kind of stuff. And he just blew everybody out of the water. I was like, oh my gosh. It was so amazing.
I had it on a sticky note on my window. I think James touched it. I think that's what happened. But I had the quote by Freddie stuck on my window for a solid 6 months because of that.
You can't afford to not be in on these things. I don't know who this is, but I'm so great. I love this quote. Thank you for sharing this. I know you guys can see when you guys make posts in the comments, I know from your end, you can see the names that are shared, but from our end, we can't. So if I'm assuming this individual is watching it from a group as opposed to like YouTube or something like that. There's a link in the description right above the video that says, click this link to allow StreamYard access to share your name. So click that link and we can see, but I love this quote right here. An old teacher used to say, in 5 years, you'll be the same person you are today, except for the books you read and the people you hang out with. I love that. In my experience, it is so true. The people that you, and I did, if you guys didn't catch the live that I did yesterday, it was phenomenal. And we talked literally about that exact same thing. We talked about how to make sure that you are around the right people, that you are increasing your standards, that you're not just sitting here doing the same monotonous thing and working and working and working and thinking that because you're being busy, that you're being productive. We talked about some high level stuff. So if you guys missed that live, it is in the Facebook group. Haley, if you're watching this, could you pin that to the feature tab so everybody can find it easily? You guys need to make sure you go in there and watch yesterday's live. It's all about how to find a high-level accountability partner and what those individuals and conversations need to look like. Ooh, Carrie Ann, I love this. Yes, 100%. Your vibe is your tribe.
Yes.
If you guys are needing high-level accountability people, or you're wanting other people to bring into your business that are operating at a higher level, then you have to go to where that water cooler is. So odds are, if you're in a book club on a Friday night, probably just speaks volumes to the caliber of people that are wanting to do bigger things. So that's a good indication of somewhere I would be if I'm trying to grow my network, if I'm trying to grow my mindset.
Hi, Pom-Pom.
You say hi? Say hi. Are you shy now?
Hi, Pom-Pom.
I love that I get to do this. I love that I took the time to bet on myself, to be around the right people, because instead of going to the Air Force and slaving, working on aircraft all day, deploying, going on TDYs, doing all these things, Carl, I'm so glad that I bet on myself to do the things. Now this is my job, to come in here to share with some of the things that I've learned with you guys, and I get to hang around with her when my kids are at school. I love this. I would never have been able to do this had I not taken the leap to bet on myself.
Pom-Pom, I can't. You're so cute.
So, Carlin, real quick, before we shift here, where can everybody go join book club? What time is it, and how can everybody join it?
I guess I'll speak Eastern Standard because that's what most of us speak nowadays. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link actually got dropped a little bit earlier on the Facebook group, so you can go back a little ways. I'll end up reposting it again just so you don't have to spend eternity trying to find it. Or you can reach out to myself, or you can also reach out to Haley. We've got links for days. Links for days, son. But get a hold of one of us or find the post. I'll be posting it again, so keep an eye out for that. Book club is Friday's my favorite day because of all of the things that we have going on Fridays. So come hang out with us. I would say we'll have coffee and donuts, but that's really your own prerogative. I can't get them to you. Amazon just isn't as fast as it used to be.
I know a 2-year-old that'll have some donuts. No coffee. She'll have some donuts for book club.
Perfect.
Awesome. So let's talk about betting on ourselves a little bit, Carl. Let's kind of switch gears a little bit here. If you guys don't know, if you guys don't know where to find book club or anything out, either just shoot Carlin and I a text and we can get you guys the information so you guys can make sure that you pop into book club. All that information is going to be right inside the Growth Co. You can't afford to not be there. Let's talk about some habits real quick. Yeah, that is a girl.
My favorite habit?
That is
my favorite habit. It's a girl.
Yeah. What's your favorite habit?
My heart and soul belongs to my journal. Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
Right here.
I totally forget. I can't ask such a loaded question. I'm so glad it was you that I asked that question too.
Yeah, I know. It was dangerous. I was like, oh, Borat.
So journaling.
Professionally.
Why has journaling been so important?
So I think let's break this down. When we think of journaling, we think of Dear Diary, today my day was hard. Tomorrow, I want to have a better day. And while that's a pretty broad consensus of journaling, it's actually not the best way to approach it. When you're in your journal, when you're doing your journal, you can ask yourself questions. You can break your thought processes down. So, Dear Diary, today I had a hard day. Great, let's stop right there. Why did you have a hard day? What was it in your day that made the day hard? And how can we change that particular action so we don't repeat that tomorrow? What kind of habits are you going to create so your day is not hard again tomorrow and the next day and the next day?
Carlin.
Dear Diary.
Oh my God. Dude, can we just stay right here for a second?
Duh.
Like, this is so good. Guys, let me just preface with this. If there's anybody else, let me just first state for the record that I was the first guy that was like, journaling, really? I don't got time to journal. I've got to go make calls. I've got to go call sellers. I've got to do the thing. It's not a money-making activity. I'll journal later once I get some more momentum and got to do the things. Like, I know that I should be doing it. I know that successful people do it, but I really don't have the proof of concept that I'm looking for yet. So I shouldn't be doing this. I need to be focusing my time on really just calling sellers. Let me just unpack what you just said there and share some of the thoughts that I had as you were explaining that. What a better way to organize. There isn't a better way to organize your thoughts than to journal. Be able to write those things down on paper. Be able to figure out what's working and what's not working. We have 70 to 80,000 thoughts per day. The average human has 70 to 80,000 thoughts a day, guys. And 90% of those are the same thoughts that you had the day prior. So here you are wanting to learn how to go make 6 and 7 figure months. But your thoughts are down here. It's like the equivalent of taking somebody who is W-2 minded, putting them in charge of a Fortune 500 company, and then wondering why the company tanked. So what better way to actually understand what you are thinking than being able to document those thoughts so that you can start to change the 70 to 80,000 thoughts that you have every single day. When you think differently, you feel differently. When you feel differently, you act differently. You execute differently. Would you agree, Carlin?
Very easily, yes. This
How-
this particular habit, I have seen myself transform more than once. So I hopefully more than once. I've seen myself transform several times, even just over the last couple of months alone. You get to see, okay, this day I was doing this and my feelings were this. So what if I took this one thing out that had me stuck in that thought process, that had me stuck in that feeling, stuck in that negative habit?
Mhm.
What if I just removed that particular thing and then let's see how it shifts? It gives you the opportunity to reflect on things that you probably wouldn't reflect on otherwise.
Mm. I 100% agree. You know, not only is it great for organizing your thoughts and to get intentional with some of the things that you are thinking, but I also love to use my journal to document how I'm spending my time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't tell you, Carlin, when I first started getting into this, I would, dude, I was the first guy, man. I would respond to an email. Somebody DMs me and they're like, hey, I want to connect. Can we jump on a call? I'm like, duh. I need to grow my network. Of course. Yeah, let's jump on a call. And then I'm sliding in everybody's DMs. I'm responding to every little thing. And before I know it, that's all it ends up being, is just there's no intention behind it other than the fact of, hey, in my mind, I should jump on a call with this individual because I just want to be a go-giver. I want to help in any way that I can. I know that I need to do it, but I don't even have the clarity on why I'm doing it or how to be intentional in that conversation. So the next day comes and I do the same thing. And then the next day comes and I do the same thing. And then weeks and months go by and I'm talking to a bunch of people. I'm responding to emails. I'm consistent in my DMs and talking with people. I go to the meetups, but my business is no better off. And you know why? It's because you're not doing anything to change the 70 to 80,000 thoughts that we have a day. You're not even aware that you're having them. And so it's so important to be doing this kind of stuff, especially when it comes to documenting your time, when at least you can start being cognizant of those things and documenting, oh, I jumped on a phone call with Carlin and this is what we talked about. And this is how long we were on a call. I jumped into Zoom with whoever and this is what we talked about. This is how long it was.
So
I went and did this about my day. I went blah, 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 blah. And you start to see how you're spending your time. And when you can cognitively see that, you can start to change those things. Sorry, Carlin, go ahead.
I want to pin that right there. So
Yeah.
you of all people know, I love doodles. I love art. This is the chaos of the front of my journal. Okay. These are all I have somewhere I'm going with this. I swear. I swear.
I love
These
this.
are all the quotes that have stood out to me and have reminded me in some way, shape, or form how I need to grow. Where is it? Right here. 0 to 100K is what you say yes to. 100K to a million is about what you say no to. And when you talk about the habits that, or when you talk about the things like, oh, I jumped on a call with this person, we talked for 30 minutes and we did this, this, and this. I love connecting with people, but there are times where I have to remember to tell myself, no, that's not going to be a productive way to spend my time. And the front of my journal is just a constant reminder of those opportunities, of those things where I can progressively push myself. I can say, okay, this is one of those things that I can say no to. So when I'm journaling, it just gives me all the opportunity that I need to be able to remind myself, this is where I want to go, and this is what I need to say yes, and this is what I need to say no to. It allows you to reflect and really push yourself backwards and say, okay, here's my opportunity. Here's an opportunity that I can push myself on. But I noticed here, I didn't make the progress that I needed to in the day. I noticed at 3:15, I had a conversation that while that person was really nice and I'd love to continue having a relationship with them, that wasn't a good use of my time because that wasn't aligned with what I was trying to do. Your journal, we talked about accountability yesterday, and your journal is easily your best accountability partner because your journal is you. What's that, bro?
I had to go start Spidey Friends real quick.
Oof. Good episodes.
Dude, I love that. Your journal is say that again real quick. Your journal is your best accountability partner.
Your journal is your best accountability partner because you're going to be able to reflect and see what habits that you've created that you probably shouldn't have. Simultaneously, you're going to see the habits you've created that have been able to propel you forward into where you're trying to go. So very regularly in my journal, at least, I circle back around to my goals. I rewrite my goals probably once a week. If I'm not feeling great for a day or two, I rewrite my journal, or I rewrite my goals of my journal even more because while I'm not feeling great, there's still things that I can be doing to push myself further. You're sick? Great. Read a book. Sit down, listen to a podcast. Maybe you lost your voice and you can't make calls. That's an awesome time to sit down and listen to some Steve Harvey, Grant Cardone, Pace Morby, Jesse Stanton. Like, you've got all the opportunity to be able to push yourself further. It's just a matter of how you're going to do that. And your journal is what's going to tell you where you've created those habits positively and negatively.
So it's all about clarity is what it's sounding like.
So there's this thing. It's 100% clarity. There's this thing called rumination. And this is everything to do with journaling because rumination, it's when our brain is playing the same thing over and over and over. Like imagine you had a dream and you just can't let that go. You sit down and you write that dream out. And now all of a sudden, it's not something that's taking up bandwidth in your brain anymore. Rumination is exactly what journaling helps with. So you can get clarity on all of your thoughts, all of your feelings, all of your ideas, daily structure. Your journal this is like my happy spot here. Like anything and everything goes into my journal. My accomplished, what I accomplished professionally, personally, what I have to do for the day, my priorities. It gives you a full outline that allows the bandwidth in your brain to just free itself up. Mm-hmm. And I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to actually have that clarity. Because like you said, your brain has 80, 90,000 thoughts a day. Imagine if you could just get rid of 10 of those. Just 10 thoughts that are just continuously cycling. And we all do it. It's like having
a bad song, man.
This is like having a crappy song stuck in your head. Like it's alleviating. Your journal alleviates stress.
And how's that changed for you? Like, what are some of the biggest things that you've noticed? I mean, we're talking about a lot of different things here, but like, give me what's one thing that if I had never journaled today, and I'm listening to this right now, I've never journaled prior to today, and leaving today, what is one thing that I can take from this conversation? I can start journaling and cognitively and intentionally say, hey, I'm going to start journaling today. This is what I'm going to document, and this is what I can expect as a result from documenting this, whether that is today, whether that's in a week, whether that's in a month.
Oh, there's so many. Just
there
one
is.
thing. Just
there
one
is.
thing.
Yeah, just pick one thing. Yeah,
just pick one thing. I would say if you're going to start anywhere, start writing down what you accomplish. That's where I would start. Start with the things that you accomplish in the day, because
So
a lot
your
of
wins.
the times, your wins. Yeah. Look, right here, my accomplished for the day. First thing every morning, made my bed. Right there. It sounds like such a silly little win. Next thing, reading. Talk to my brother today. Things that made you feel good, made you feel empowered, and made you feel like you were capable.
Let's unpack
That's
this
where
a
I'd
little bit
start.
real quick. I want to dive deeper into this because there's so much truth to what you are saying right now. Documenting your wins. If you guys didn't know this, probably somewhere between 4 and 6 weeks ago, I think, I did a meditation on understanding and unpacking, getting clarity on your future self, what they look like, how do they think, what are their habits, what does their day look like, what does their environment look like, how organized is all these things. And the point of that is to understand what that successful version of you looks like so that you can immediately step into that person now. And you can inhibit all of their habits, their skills, the mindset, the day, the structure, the clarity. And there's so much truth to what Carlin's talking about. And I love what you said right there when it comes to documenting your wins, because there's this identity shift, guys, that has to happen. You literally have to become an entirely different person. Okay? Where you are right now, or where you were when you started to where you are right now, the thoughts, the habits, all that kind of stuff is not going to get you from where you are right here to where you're wanting to go. You have to become an entirely different person. You have to shift from the person you are now into this person that you're capable of becoming. The only way that you can make that shift, the only way that you can transform who you are, is to think differently. When you take the time, guys, to document your wins every single day. Carlin, what was the first win that you just wrote down for the day?
My bed.
You made your fucking bed, man.
Every
you
day.
made your bed. Now, there's a lot of different things that we can get into on why that in and of itself is so stinking important. I mean, you tie gratitude, you tie all these other things into it. How many people wake up and they don't even have a bed to be grateful that they have to make? But I want to unpack this for a second. When you wake up every single day, Carlin, and all you do is document your wins. Now, guys, your wins aren't going to necessarily be wins in the way that you're thinking about winning. It may be that you totally effed up, that you lost, but you learned something. And that in and of itself is a win. During last night's Zoom meeting, our coaching call that we had, Luke came on and he was vulnerable. And I love that he shared this. He said, Jesse, I got caught up in doing these other things in my business and I didn't hit all of my KPIs today that he needed to for his outreach. And so we talked about that. We unpacked that a little bit. And that was a win for him to be able to go to bed last night and have that clarity and say, hey, I didn't hit my KPIs, but here's what I can do differently starting tomorrow. And because of that, that is a win. So when you start documenting these things, you're like, oh, made my bed. Boom, won. Oh, I called did you say your brother, your cousin?
I called my brother. Yeah.
You called your brother. Boom, win. Got the kids up and ready. Everybody made it to school on time. Boom, win. There's this identity shift that has to happen, you guys. You have to become a different person. You have to communicate differently. Your skill set, your habits, your time management, your relationships, everything has to elevate. It has to be completely different than the way that you're doing. You have to shift those 80,000 thoughts that you have a day. And when you can start subconsciously, when you can consciously start documenting your wins, subconsciously, your brain, the way that it's wired, the way that it fires, starts to change. Now we're kind of getting a little bit into neuroscience a little bit. But then guess what? When you make a conscious effort to do this, then subconsciously those thoughts begin to change, and automatically you start to look for the wins. You express gratitude for the wins. And guess what? Pretty soon you fucking start to wake up as a winner. You do nothing but win. Every single day is a win. Tell me Michael Jordan did not wake up every single day as a winner. Tell me Kobe Bryant did not wake up every single day as a winner. Tell me Donald Trump did not wake up every single freaking day and do nothing but win. Tell me Pace Morby does not wake up and do anything except win. You guys ever see people that everything that they do, everything they touch just turns to gold? Well, why do you think that is? When you reverse engineer that, where do you think that shit starts? It starts right here. You can't afford to not be journaling. You can't afford to not be getting intentional with this transformation so that you can execute differently. Journaling and creating this habit is equally, if not more so important than spending time trying to call sellers. Start waking up. If you do nothing else except take away the one thing from today's podcast, when you start journaling, document just your wins. Every single day, carry this thing around, and all you do is win. You're a freaking winner. Every single day is win. You can't get away from winning. You talk about people that everything that they do just turns to gold. You talk about things that, it's like they're just manifesting abundance. They're manifesting success. It's like you hear these people talk about all these things, as if it was just magic. This is why. This is where it starts. Carlin, thank you for sharing that. I absolutely love that. What a great takeaway. Document your wins.
Thanks for letting me get up on my soapbox today. Is man, journaling, if there's one habit that I would say anyone should develop, it's journaling. Even if it doesn't even have to be professionally for business. It could just be learning how to journal to create clarity in your mind. And that alone will create all of the things that come after. So, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no, thank you, and thank you guys for being here. I'm today's topic was something I was so passionate about, and I know you and I both share that same love for journaling because of everything that that comes with it. Everything that happens is a byproduct. A lot of people will set these big ass goals, but then their standards are down here. You know what's really cool is when you set these big ass goals, but then all you got to do is raise your standard. Your anxiety decreases, your stress decreases, everything about you just gets better. You're happier because your standards are in alignment with the goals that you're wanting to achieve. And these goals now manifest themselves as a byproduct. They just happen. Literally like magic, simply because all you did was raise your standards. A lot of you guys know that you should be journaling, but sometimes it may take you weeks or months or years before you're like, oh man, I'm not where I want to be because I never put the time in. I never made the effort. I never raised my standard to say, hey, I'm just going to do the thing. I'm going to take some time to understand myself, my thoughts, my accountability, all that stuff. So make sure, if nothing else today, your takeaway is to start journaling.
Do the thing.
Do the thing. All right, guys. That's all we've got for you guys today. Again, if you guys missed the announcement we had when we first started, we have a webinar coming up next Wednesday. Go in to the Facebook group in the Growth Co. and make a comment in there saying you want access to the webinar, and my team will make sure that you guys get a link to register. You guys are the first ones. We haven't announced this to anybody else before. You guys are the first people that get to hear that. So get in there. We're only going to allow 100 people in there. So you guys are the first people that get to register. So make sure you go in there, Don't do it later or you're going to miss out. Go into the Facebook group right now and make a comment telling my team that you guys want access to the registration link for next week's webinar. We're going to be talking about how I got to $50,000 a month in passive income in 10 weeks. And then we also have book club tonight. You guys can't afford to not be there. Carlin, where can people register for that real quick?
I'll drop the link again on the Facebook page so everyone can find it. The book we're reading now is The 4 Maps of Happy, Successful People. Guys, this literally goes into detail about a different way to journal. Boom.
There it is. All right, guys. Hey, if there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. Please feel free to reach out. You guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Have a wonderful Friday.